Welcome to the Sisterhood of Sweat. I am here today with Kim Boudreau Smith. Throughout a decade-spanning career crossing a myriad of job descriptions and industries, Kim Boudreau Smith has achieved success because she pays attention to and develops her bold voice. Kim provides support and encouragement coupled with strategy and tools to help other women develop their own bold voice and show up in the world all through their voices. Often referred to as a multimedia maven, Kim has experience on a multitude of platforms where she expresses her bold voice. Performing as a dancer since she was the age of 7 helped Kim feel comfortable on an international stage, sharing her hard-won wisdom. Not only a former radio station owner and a host of a weekly show to a global audience, Kim is a frequent guest on radio and podcasts all over the world. Kim has compiled and co-authored several books that have made their mark in the Amazon bestseller arena. Through her fitness business, she began recording video long before it was popular. Her training, coaching certifications, and corporate experience are the winning trifecta for having Kim mentor high achievers to a better media presence and asserting their own bold voice. Kim is real, raw, and undoubtedly honest about the challenges of stepping into your own voice. Today, I talked with Kim Boudreau Smith about how she was creating this life that she virtually ended up hating, creating a life that she thought everyone else wanted her to have, or what everybody else would want to hear. And she basically lied her way into corporate America. And she has this rock bottom moment. So we talk about her story where here she is, 48 years old, and all the lies she told about having a college education, a high school degree, all come crashing down around her at 48. She hits a rock bottom. And that's when she truly finds her voice. So many times in our rock bottom moments, that is when we can truly shift. And so she talks about how to find your own bold voice and how authenticity is the secret, just being the real you instead of the you that you think everyone else wants you to be. What I really liked was she said she really had a life she didn't appreciate. She had a lack mindset, and it was kind of money motivated mindset and entitled driven. And all that shifted when she really realized she wasn't appreciative of what she had. She wasn't grateful. She signed up, she got some help. And I love when she said she was practicing gratitude really for almost virtually the first time, looking up the ceiling, being thankful there was drywall overhead, maybe it was raining out, I think. And it was just watching her whole mindset shift and how she cleaned up her life from her rock bottom moment, and then goes on to create her own radio station, best-selling books, become a speaker, and much, much more. I hope you guys enjoy this story and a glimpse at how to make your message today. Without further ado, we're going to dive into this episode. Hey everybody, I am so excited today to welcome Kim Boudreau Smith to the Sisterhood of Sweat.
Oh, I love the Sisterhood of Sweat. I just love what you do, Linda. To me, that's so cool. Thank you.
Thanks. I appreciate it. It's something that I've always been doing, sweating for a living, but I think I really began to realize what a mission I'm on, and the SWEAT acronym, it just came to me because when we are women working out together, we're bonding and empowering each other. So the acronym is Strong Women Empowering Achieving Together. That's what the SWEAT stands for. And I love the fact that our missions, Kim, are so closely aligned. And before we give you the meat and potatoes, I just want you to get to know Kim a little bit. And we're going to dive into your background, and how you ever, what is your backstory? Everybody has one.
Well, gosh, let me see. There was a time I was in, Linda, I was in corporate America. That was like my dream, to be in corporate America, to climb those corporate ladders. I come from an uneducated family. So what's been pounded in my head my whole life is work, 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 work. Don't miss a day of work, work and earn your money, work. And there was never education. So I wanted to be that middle to upper management, because my parents are not. They're blue collar workers, and I just started climbing corporate ladders, but I based it all upon lies. And I'm that type of person. You can put me in a situation. Don't hand me oh, here, honey, here's your new VCR and read the instructions. I'm not going to read the instructions. I dive in. I get my hands in and I learn that way. And I had a phenomenal corporate career, but it also came crashing down on me. I mean, I based it upon lies. I was climbing ladders based upon lies. And also it was lies that really took me down. Not my lies, some other people's lies, but so my lies were, I was college educated and graduated high school, and I had all this educational accolades, and it was not true. And so after leaving, actually kind of being forced out of corporate, because I really hated corporate, I have a fitness business, by the way, that I don't promote. And
Okay.
that was my first entrepreneur venture. And the fitness business is still around. It's very small. I keep it small. I started that about 25, 27 years ago, and worked both corporate and the fitness, and then finally made that transition into entrepreneurship 100% full time. But about 12 years ago, I fell asleep at a major intersection right here by my home in the middle of the day at a red light. And thank God my foot didn't come off the brake, because I would have been in the intersection. And it was my head that fell forward that woke me up. And I did it again. And I got home, and at that time I was driving this cute little red car, and I got out and I cursed the red car like it's the red car's fault, right?
Right.
Came in, and I knew I had to clean my past up. And I went to work at cleaning my past up. And that was, my past from corporate and the lies that I had been living, all based upon what I thought you and everyone else in this world, how they were going to view me and think of me if I didn't have the college education and the high school diploma. So I went after it.
So you got it now.
Yeah, I went back to high school when I was 49. So at 50, I put on a cap and gown, and so I was able to complete high school with one class. With one class, I needed one credit to graduate, because they grandfathered community college credits in that I had. And so I went to night school and when I was 50, I put on a cap and gown, walked across the stage, got my high school diploma. And then I went to the community college and said, okay, I didn't finish. And he said, you only need one credit. I don't know what it was with all this one credit stuff. So he goes, you just need one class, one credit. And he goes, it's a phys ed credit. And I'm like, please, I can write the phys ed curriculum.
Oh, that was so nice.
Yeah. So I did it all. And so I finished high school, my 2-year associate's degree, and my 2-year coaching certification, all within a 2-year span of time.
So I want to dive into what you said at the very beginning. You were climbing the corporate ladder, but everything was based on lies. Mm-hmm. And, I think a lot of the times we don't feel enough. Were you not feeling enough, and why?
Well, I wasn't feeling enough because I didn't have parents that said, you must go on to college. We never had that opportunity. You must go on to college in order to make something for yourself. In fact, I didn't even know what college opportunities were till my senior year of high school. And I'm hearing all my friends are like, yeah, I'm moving away to go here. And I'm like, what do you mean you're moving away to go there? How are you going to get there? Wait, who's paying for all this? So I was oblivious to all of that. I wanted to get in and start working. I wanted to make money. I wanted a nicer car. I wanted to save up and get my own apartment. I was more money and then eventually title driven. Forget that I didn't have time for the degrees. And plus I really didn't know much about it at that point.
It shows you that you really didn't need it. That's the sad part.
Yeah, I know. Well, back in that day, 'cause that was back in that day, my resume said I graduated from high school. And my resume also said I had a 4-year college degree because I feared that I would be viewed as being so dumb and stupid and a failure. And in fact, I was quite successful in corporate. And so I thought that if I could be successful on lies, boy, I can certainly be a hell of a lot successful on my truth. So I cleaned it up.
Well, now when it came crashing down, wow, tell me a little bit about that, because that had to be a huge rock bottom moment.
Yes, it was. It was 12 years ago. So people can do some math. I was 48, 12 years ago when I came crashing down, living on these lies. And I was waking up in the morning, Linda, and I'm a morning person. I love mornings. Mornings are like, not everybody's up. It's so quiet. It's peaceful. I was waking up, and before I'd get out of bed, I would say to myself, what's my schedule like for the day so I can come back to bed?
So you can what? Come back to bed?
So I can come back to bed, yeah. So it was no surprise that I fell asleep at that red light at 12 noon in the middle of the day. I wasn't tired, but I fell asleep. So I was talking myself back into that. So I stepped into some women's interpersonal intense growth work because I was realizing I was living very ungratefully. I hated everything. I was very unfulfilled. I looked at everything as lack as opposed to being appreciative for everything that I had. And so my first step beginning was I made some phone calls to some people and knew I had to get myself some help, and started cleaning up those resume lies and got back into school. I was going to school at night in one of my least favorite subjects, history, and aced it, loved it. And then I started the very next morning when I got out of bed. Before I got out of bed, I looked at the drywall above my head and I literally said this: thank goodness for that drywall above my head. Thank goodness. And that's how I started switching things around. So I wasn't falling asleep.
Gratitude.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
Yes. And isn't that so true? Because I feel like a lot of the times we can just really be focused on the lack and the scarcity mindset versus that if you have more, I can have it too, or, we can all rise together. We can get stuck in our problems and our scarcity mindset. But I really think gratitude is a strategy to shift and really retrain your brain, is what it sounded like to me. Once you started being grateful, how did that evolve everything?
Well, I recall that next morning I wasn't as tired. I was not, I made it through the day, not perfectly because I don't strive for perfection, but I made it through that day a little easier. I wasn't craving to get back into bed. And don't get me wrong, everybody that is listening in, I'm all about a 10-15 minute power nap, especially because I get up so early in the morning. Sometimes we drive the days, there's nothing like a 10-15 minute power nap. I'm a big proponent of it.
But not at the red light.
Yeah, not at the red light.
No, this is not a fire drill.
That's right. Do it on the patio, do it on the couch, but not while, or pull, if you are driving, pull over in a parking lot, please. And do it safely. But, so I didn't have that so much of that pulling, that weighting, that weight, that pulling down. That was the first step. But I really took a hold of my life, because at that point I was 48 and a half. I was looking forward to turning 50. I wasn't going to make it to 50 if I didn't get my shit together. I mean, if I did not grab myself in that moment after falling asleep, not just once, but twice at that red light, I would not have made it to 50. And I was looking forward to 50. So,
Thank God for the rock bottom moment.
yes, exactly.
Right? Because that's when you can shift truly, is when you hit that bottom. Yeah. And I just really have to say, I wanted to call you Kim Boudreau Smith from the beginning.
Please.
And I'm just going to say it suits you, because I really think it's bold, really, all of it. It was very bold. I mean, I don't recommend, but it was bold that you lies your way into corporate America. That's bold.
Yes.
And equally to grab yourself up by the bootstraps and say, okay, let's rewire this is bold as well. And I mean, it's amazing to me. You created a life that you hated virtually, right? Mm. And it's what you thought you wanted, and it's what you thought everybody wanted to hear. How did you find your own voice and start, her bold voice?
Well, that's a journey in itself. So I had a fitness business, and I saw all this online going, and I said to myself, boy, I really want a business online. I wanted, a little bit of that both, physical and online. Because when I started my fitness business, there weren't websites. There wasn't even internet. It was right before that. So my fitness business is literally here in my backyard, all word of mouth. I'm dealing with clientele that doesn't just let people into their homes. It was word of mouth referral. But when I stepped online, my first step was getting involved in an anthology. A woman was launching a publishing company, and so she did it by pulling together women for an anthology. So that was my first chapter of my voice of writing. And then she did a second one. I stepped into that, and then her and I started having dialogue. I said, how do you get this visibility online? How do you become a leader in a business online? And she said, well, first of all, you need to lead an anthology. And I'm like, I'm not doing that. 3 anthologies later, I'm like, I'm not doing it. So after I heard her say that a few times, we were halfway through the project of my first anthology, where I brought 27 women from around the world into this book. We were marketing off of the word bold, because the first anthology is bold is beautiful, and then the underlining is kindness, beauty, and strength, which are my initials, KBS. So I started marketing from there with the word bold, because Boudreau, so we did the B for bold. And there was always something about that word bold, because it rhymes with gold, and gold is one of my favorite colors. This is just a very elegant, it's like you can wear pearls with jeans, you can wear pearls with anything. So that was my first step. And then that first book led into a second book. And in the process of those two, I launched an internet radio station.
That's no small feat.
No. I need a nap just talking about it.
You make me think I might need a nap. No, I'm just kidding. Wow. That's so huge. So walk me through the radio station.
Well, I had a radio show on another platform, and I was 1 month into this platform, sitting here going, all right, I'm all alone. I'm producing my show. I'm trying to stay present for my guest. I'm trying to be a host. Oh my God, what happens if technology? I'm SOL. And then wait a minute. We as women in business, we female entrepreneurs, we need visibility platforms like podcasting, radio shows, call it whatever you want. And I thought, if we're all as busy as I am, how can you manage these things? How can you manage these
Not
guests?
by yourself.
You can't. So I launched the radio station, and it was a VIP service we created for all my hosts. So I had a whole team. You just went and got your go give us your name of your guest. We did it all from there. We did the emailing of the guests. We did the productions. We did very little editing because first of all, it was live radio, but we recorded it for, shelf life. And we did very little editing. If there was a technology glitch or something, of course we would go back and do that, but we kept it as authentic and transparent and raw as we could with the shows. And then, we did marketing on the behalf of the radio station and the behalf of the hosts. And it was a fun ride for, about 7 years. I sold it when it was making a profit.
Perfect.
And yes, and that was a few years ago.
Wow. I love it. I love the whole idea of it, the experience, and you finding out kind of what I found out, and I just I'll just call it an audible. I had an audible last week. I was sitting there thinking, gosh, because I've had a few injuries and I wasn't able to, I'm normally an athletic fitness competitor, but I wasn't able to be up at my normal speed. And I was thinking, gosh, I really need to take weight off. Like, I've never thought that, and I'm like, I think I need to. And then I just heard this audible voice, then take weight off. Like, and then I realized what that meant. It meant I was carrying so much weight between all of the things, the business more than one business, all the things I was running, all the things I was doing. And I started really getting it. I was like, yes, who can I empower right now? Who can I say, come to the table, be part of the party? I don't want to do this alone. And as women, we need to ask for help. I mean, I don't know where we got it in our heads that we need to do this all alone.
I think, something, Linda, that first of all, what you just said is a very priceless statement. And I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's because society views us as being very weak if we don't have it all together, or that nasty 4-letter word, I'm fine, when we're not fine, or, look at me, I'm the PTA parent, and my hair's done, which I'm not because I have no kids, but, my hair's done and my makeup's always on because I've got my act together. When at home, I'm falling apart, no pun intended.
Oh my gosh.
Yes, I mean, and as women business owners, especially for those of the ones that are listening, they're just starting off. Do you have to wear a lot of hats in the beginning? Yes, you do, because you want to watch your budgetary, your budget and how you're investing to grow the business. So you have to be a little savvy. And I'm a proponent as a business coach. Get to know a few of those wheels in your business so that when you do go hire someone, you know enough that you can talk.
Not being taken advantage of.
Yes, and talk and tell them exactly what it is that that you need, and then let them go do their thing. Absolutely.
Oh my gosh. And yes. And so, yes, what you said about looking perfect on the outside, but falling apart on the inside, that's what this podcast is for, because so many of us feel we have to look and be a certain way that's perfect, while we may be bleeding on the inside and falling apart. And, I can look back to growing up in a household where my mom had manic depression, and we weren't, able to speak about the suicidal things that went on, and the things were hidden, right? So I learned at a very young age to show perfect on the outside, while things were falling apart on the inside or at home. And my mom, I felt, she was very submissive. She did not have a voice. And so that's why having you on today to me feels so monumental and so important, because as a young girl, it was a confusing message of, not having a voice to then becoming a woman and not knowing how to use my voice. Why do you feel that it's so important for women to have a voice and to be bold about it?
Oh my gosh, more than ever, like right now. Our country, our world is struggling and seeking for a paradigm shift. And I don't want Linda, I don't want you or any of your listeners to get this wrong. I'm not talking about, we women are we're right. No, but we as women are the paradigm shift. And it is up to just us to come into that self-awareness and that awakening so that we in turn can lead that self-awareness and that awakening. And men that are listening to this too as well, they need to do the same thing. In fact, I was just having this conversation the other day with somebody. We need to become better at being so that our doing becomes richer and stronger and more heartfelt, more vulnerable. It's like Brene Brown gets into with all her research and stuff, is we need to become more of that being. And in order to become more of that being, that's where we can start stepping boldly into our voices, not with just courage, but oh my gosh, bravery. I mean, it takes bravery to have the confidence to really speak our voices and speak from our true self, where we're not blaming anybody or accusing or anything like that, but just boldly speak our voices. So right now, today, our world really needs women's voices badly, badly.
And I just think if we're spending all of that time being somebody else's ideal, how do you truly then tune into your own voice? Isn't that what sets us apart anyway?
Yes, absolutely. And we need to stop living on someone else's what ideals are, or as I like to call them, the OPOs, other people's opinions. We give such carte blanche on those opinions, and those opinions people paid, 50 cents to be in the nosebleed section of our lives, and we're giving them carte blanche of opinions that we need to let those opinions go. And they're their opinions, they're not ours. So to stop living on other people's ideas and opinions and really just get on in there and push those sleeves up and get in that arena and just lay it down, just lay it down. It will also help us as women break the status quo. Let me really lean into my microphone. Ladies, stop the status quo. Oh my gosh, break that status quo. Just because what works for Linda and how Linda does it does not mean it's going to work for Kim Boudreau Smith and how Kim Boudreau Smith is going to do it. Or just because society says we are supposed to be a good girl if we sit this way, and if we act this way, and if we say please or constantly I'm sorry, you're shrinking yourself down. It's time to step out and break the status quo.
I love that. And
Mm-hmm.
I have been accused of having good girl syndrome.
I think we all do.
Oh yes, one guest called me out on the podcast. It's been a long while, but I realized what she said was so true, and it really actually helped me to open my eyes and evolve. Just to realize that I had that good girl syndrome. And what I mean by that is, the OPO, people pleasing,
Mm-hmm.
and to a fault.
Saying a
To
lot
a
of
fault.
yes, saying a lot of yes and not enough no's, and and yes, people pleasing. And the other thing that we do, Linda, not only the good girl, because we have clothing, metaphorically, outfits for good girl. We have outfits for that imposter syndrome as well. And all of that feeds our inner critic, which I call her the hag in the attic. It feeds her. It's like Popeye. You know how olive oil gave Popeye spinach, so he got those big guns, you know, those big arms and stuff like that. When we do things like that, we are feeding our hag in the attic, and she becomes stronger and stronger and stronger. That becomes the bold voice, as opposed to our true, authentic bold voice.
Wow, that is so good. What are some symptoms that you're doing? Did you call it the hag in the attic? What was it? Oh my God, that's too good. Oh, get rid of the hag in the attic, guys. All right, so give me the hag in the attic voice so we can recognize it.
Well, my hag in the attic voice is my voice. That's that voice that's in our head. Actually, my hag in the attic.
What would it say?
My hag in the attic, actually, she sits right here on my desk. You know, so the hag in the attic here's my hag in the attic. Really? So Kim, you're speaking at Ford Motor Company. Are you kidding me? You're actually going to go into that Women's Initiative Leadership Organization, and you are going to speak as their keynote speaker. And you have not been in corporate in over, 20 years? You have no right to be here. And look at the way you're dressed. You're not even dressed to go into corporate America. That's your hag in the attic voice. Or what's the other? Oh my gosh, she's real crazy. You know, she'll say things to me like, oh, you're revamping your services and you're going to up level everything? How are you going to do that? Who are you going to talk to get to buy your services? I mean, that's that hag in the attic.
I just recognized the hag in the attic voice that I had. How are you going to empower women? You just had a fight with your husband. How was that empowering? Or whatever it is. I can see where that's going. That is so good. I hope you guys are getting what she's laying down today. So then I want to take it a step further, because I feel like this is so important, and that's why I lead with it in the beginning of the podcast about being who we are instead of who others want us to be. How do we see? We've probably dumbed it down. We've probably thought other people, OPO, wouldn't accept who we truly are. So we've gotten to this point, maybe we're not even recognizing who we are anymore. How do we get in tune with our authentic voice when we're being so fake?
Well, it's those moments when you're in a meeting, or you are out networking, or you are on a interview like this, and you are feeling yourself holding back what you truly, really want to say.
Oh, I love that.
So that is that I call that unfulfilled desires, which lead to, and I'm going to make a claim right here and now. I'm not a doctor or therapist, but those unfulfilled desires will lead to, it can lead to or enhance anxiety. It can enhance depression. It could deplete confidence, esteem, worth, all those, because we hold ourselves back. So all we need to do is, you know, for just one time in one situation, lean in and speak up on your ideas or something that you're passionate about. Or, you know what, hey, you know what? Yeah, my name is Kim Boudreau Smith, and her bold voice. And you know what, I'm pretty badass, and I can teach women how to really stand up and stand into their voices. You know, it's really having to own ourselves. Women are very uncomfortable doing that.
We're afraid. We're so afraid. Yeah. Because I think also the word powerful to women, sometimes women shrink back from that idea of being powerful. Because we're taught that's masculine.
Yes, it is. Yeah, being power or powerful is masculine. I like to use the words power-filled.
Oh gosh, preach it, girl. I love it.
Which is far more on the feminine side. You know, we all have to dance our masculine and feminine energies. We have to dance both sides of those, including men. But we all need to be leading from that feminine side, which is our gut, intuition, our heart, call it whatever you want, but in our bodies, it's getting
We
more.
feel it. We
Yes.
feel it.
Yeah.
And it isn't logical, but
No,
it's real.
it's not up here. Yeah, not in our heads. You want to get into the body and then eventually get it up into the head and out of the mouth. But you want to feel it first. But again, we're a society of, don't show your emotions. Then you're going to be a weak woman. Don't show your emotions. They may think it might be your time of the month. That's why you are bitchy. So we've had all of that come at us. We've had a society of, women weren't allowed to vote out to vote. We have a society still where, women, Caucasian women are paid 74 cents to the dollar next to a man. African-American woman is paid, I do believe it's 62 cents, and a Latino woman's even less than that. We have been put down, and we do need to stand up, but we also need men standing by, not in front of us, not behind us, to our side, going, hey, if my colleague over here, I'm getting paid this and she's getting paid that, I'm not going to do it until she's paid what I'm paid. It takes both. But women, we really need to stop shrinking, and something as simple as being in a restaurant. Oh, I'm sorry. I ordered salad dressing on the side. What are you sorry for? You ordered salad dressing on the side. Tell them, so it could be something is very minute as that, could be quite, power filled, on how you're asking for it. It's every time we try to assert ourselves, we play small. We might laugh it off. We might apologize. We might fake it until we make it. There's a lot of things that women do with their voices that keep them small.
So isn't that all a part of wanting to be liked?
Oh, yeah, please. Yeah. And by the way, the more you step into your authentic self and start living on your terms, I'm going to tell you, you will lose friends. You will lose friends. But you will have.
They're really not friends.
They're not, and you will have
that's the thing.
Yeah, a whole circle open up, a whole new tribe of people that will come that truly are there for you.
I think there is a fear there sometimes where we are afraid that we will lose when we are truly ourselves instead of this person we're pretending to be. And so maybe we could just say to okay, I will lose the fake friends I have and the fake life I have, and I will step into the real person I am and have real friends and a real life.
Okay. How many years and century have men been doing this? And not giving two
rat's asses about it.
Yes, they don't. I mean, look at our political figures. Look at, male CEOs of these high driving companies. They go at it, and sure, not everybody agrees to what you're doing, but women are still, we've got that estrogen in us, or that warm fuzziness in us. We can't have that guiltness of leaving our kids, or, oh, I'm guilty because I'm trying to impress the boss and I'm not doing. That estrogen that we wear, we need to learn to embrace that. And by the way, leverage it through our voices, and not, keep, going on the negative side, so to speak, and keep us small and hold us back. You will lose friends. And think about it. I've evolved through friends. I mean, I'm 60 years old. I've evolved through friends over the years. I've come across new friends, and it's an ebb and flow. It's as you change and evolve, others around you do too.
Oh, because when you change the way you show up, others have to change the way they're showing up.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yes.
And you brought up so many things with what you were saying. Like, the other thing is, we're worrying about so much about being liked, but you know what? Isn't it more important to be respected? And that is the biggest thing I learned as, just early on teaching fitness classes. If you went into a class wanting to be liked and you apologize, it's your oh, I'm sorry, it's my first time teaching here, or my first time teaching ever. I hope you guys like it. What would you like to do today? You know, you come in like that, you're going to get eaten alive, first of
Heck,
all.
yes.
Eaten alive, eaten alive. So what you were trying to do there is get people to like you and make friends. But I'll tell you right now, the very first thing I learned was, don't try to make friends right away. They don't know if they even trust you. Just earn their respect. And I think that that could go a long way also in business and every other thing.
Yes. I think women are, especially, when you're an entrepreneur, you're afraid of upsetting the apple cart with clients. You're afraid of losing those clients or crossing, whatever. But I'll tell you what, when I was in corporate, not speaking up, I lost more business that way. And boy,
By
did
not speaking up.
yes. And sitting in rooms where it's all men and I'm the only woman, got eaten up alive to the point where I had to get out of that room and into the bathroom because I was filled with tears. So people do respect you when you speak up. They may not agree with you. And if they're not agreeing with you and they're coming from a divide standpoint and they're going to attack you, they're not your people. They're not your people. You don't belong in that lion's den.
And I will just go a step further, and this is something I discovered. When you fire C and D clients, you make room for A and B clients. Like, you don't even recognize it, but really you're setting a bar, you're teaching people how to treat you, and you're saying what you want, you're saying what you'll accept. And it's crazy because you only got so much time. So why spend it with the drainers and the energy suckers and the people that are your kryptonite versus somebody that appreciates what you're bringing, actually does what you put out there, follows the roadmap. And then that's a client that sings your praises and brings you more people versus this other person you can't hardly please, and they're critical and they're stomping all over you.
Yeah, and you just can't win. I'm a big proponent with a lot of my clients is know your avatar, know your ideal client, know who they are. And if you want to work with those negative, vampire energy draining people, so be it. But those are people you can never please. I believe you're out of an alignment and you never get.
They don't want to be pleased first.
They don't want to be pleased. It doesn't matter who you are or what you do or how nice you are. It will never work. And by doing that, you're hiding your voice. You are suffocating your voice.
And you're also putting up with a little bit of things, we could
Yeah.
go a whole abuse. We could go a whole nother podcast on. And I just really recognized, this the more that I have a gym, and it's just like one of those things that you really start to hone in on because this is your life, right? And so how do you want to spend it? You found out you're in corporate, you had a radio station, you figured these things out. And so how are you spending your time now is what I want to know.
Well, of course, as we're recording this today, we are in the midst of a pandemic. And I'll be very transparent. My courses were physical. They were in person. They were designed to be in person. So I was I had a strong momentum right here in my own backyard. And I think I did a lot of in-person stuff because owning the radio station, I was online 24/7, 365, 7 days a week. I mean, it was nonstop. So I thought, I need to get back out. And so when I rebranded Herbal Voice, I got back out. Well, we hit quarantine and I stood here and I put my hands on my hips like a spoiled little hag in the attic brat and said, oh no, my classes are designed for in person. We're only going to be here a month. I don't need to pivot. There will be no shifting involved. We can buy time for a month. Okay, well, almost 6 months later. So I have, I've been very fortunate that my business has done very well through the quarantine or shelter in place. Let's go to shelter in place. We're not in quarantine anymore. However, a lot of it has died down. And so I've had to close off services, and I'm in the process of revamping services. And I will stay online. I was taught that I can teach women to really own their voices, even online. And we need
Actually,
to,
I'm going to just say better.
yes,
Not to
better.
interrupt you, but I want you to know and realize that you being virtual in person are limiting yourself,
Yes,
and you're limiting the people you can reach and touch,
yes.
and that online you could literally reach and touch more people.
Yes, absolutely. And we all need to learn how to present ourselves online as well as in person, because we will
Yes.
be back in person. But we do need to learn how to do both. And we really need to learn how to really become self-aware so we can put our voices out there.
And it's work. It's work when you
Oh,
start to go in the online space. And I think we can be resistant to those changes because we're just like, oh, I just reinvented myself. I have to do it again. But
yes.
I think, like my father said, that adjustment happens from birth to the grave, and those who adjust do well. So adjusting to the tide and the ebb and flow, it's kind of like surfing, getting the wave. And, you know, you can learn, we may be getting older, but we can learn new tricks. And I think sometimes when you go ahead and say, okay, I'm embracing the suck here, let's just do what we can do, you reinvent yourself, and you'll find this new you didn't even know existed. You'll be like, oh, I can surf the waves in the online space.
Yeah. The possibilities, and I love that, embracing the suck, because I'm really embracing the suck. But there is so much more possibilities they are bigger than us, Linda. We cannot see them in this moment. And I don't even think I could see them by the end of the day. But that's the beauty of the game plan. And listen, I'm preaching big time to a choir right now. It's being able to let go, because I'm a doer. Let's get things done. But that's a very masculine side of energy too. So it's learning to bring in that feminine, to let go, to be, to slow down and breathe. Breathe.
Well, it has been a time for that. And I did take time for that. I think the biggest thing when I really started pivoting, because I just recognized what my clients needed. And so I was just providing it online as much as I could. And now I recognize that I'm going to take that piece and continue it and expand it, because I was limiting myself in just the brick and mortar. So now that I can expand and do more of a virtual studio, I can reach more people and help more people.
Yes. Okay.
And so I really see the vision for that.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. That's the beauty of this online space. And, and anything is possible, because same thing with my trainer. I mean, I'm so used to going to her studio, and she is seeing people, very selectively, but she implemented classes online, and it was great. We got on a Zoom call. She worked out with us, took us through a ball rolling class. And I'll tell you, it rocked my world for that hour. And it works, and it helps. So there are other alternative spaces. I'm a big proponent, though, we are not supposed to be 100% online. We do need human interaction.
Right, because I think a lot of the people that have been in that online space already realize it isn't a replacement for being live in person.
Right.
So like today when we were in the studio, I'm like, let's make sure we stay diligent. We've got to spray, wipe, we've got to, make sure we're standing apart so that we can continue to do this, because I think meeting and connecting in person during our workouts is it can't be replaced, even though, yes, we can pivot. It's not a replacement for human interaction.
Yes, you're right. You're very right. And, and we need it. We need the human interaction. We really do.
Oh my gosh, this has been so good today, and I've loved every minute with you. What would you like every woman out there to know?
Oh gosh, please. First of all, one of my favorite quotes, be yourself, everyone else is taken, Oscar Wilde. So just be yourself because, just be you, do you. And when you're being you and doing you, you will be heard. So be heard and just get out there and be bold and speak it up. But, I want everyone that's listening is make sure you're doing it on your terms and not somebody else's.
I love that. So great. Where can everybody get your book, and what is the name of it?
Well, there you can go over to my website at Kim B. Smith, and those anthologies are on my website. I'm in the process of writing a solo book. I probably should not announce that because then that means I'm going to have to finish it. So I'm in the process. Boy, that has been a painful process. I'm in the process and it's almost
It's
done.
always a painful process.
Oh gosh, those boys. I'm almost done. So I'm excited about that. But they can just go right over to Kim B. Smith. And I would love for your listeners to reach out to me on LinkedIn because I hover over LinkedIn and Facebook.
All right, that'll be perfect. And well, she is also speaking at the Women's Future Conference, as I am. So you guys all sign up. I'm going to be putting a link in the show notes if you want to sign up to be able to hear all these amazing women speakers when they come together and unite and make everybody stand in their voices a little more.
Yes, that's going to be a great conference. Oh, Linda, we could have met in Vegas. Darn.
Oh my gosh, are you kidding me?
Next year.
We will. We will.
Yes.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Kim, for coming on today. And thanks everybody for listening to the Sisterhood of Sweat.